Yeah, only one brand this week. It's the best you could do. I mean, our channel ratings are gonna go down. People won't like that. I initially wanted to have 2 brands, but ended up only working out for 1 brand for reasons I'll get into later in the video. Also, since we are only talking about 1 brand, I decided to put a little surprise at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that. That being said, we have a lot of developments happening for the channel. We just recently hit 400 subscribers, and I think we're at like 419 right now, so moving towards our current goal of 500 very quick. I also just bought a bunch of equipment. I bought lights, another microphone, table, chairs, and hopefully soon we'll have a more permanent setup. This is just temporary right now, and it kind of sucks because I have to rely on natural lighting, and right now it's like raining, and I think hopefully the lighting's all right. I'm also currently in the DMs of brands for future episodes, so that's cool, and overall morale of the channel is looking up. So without further ado, play that funky intro, white boy. My leather black jeans on black. This week's brand that we'll be talking about is Stripmall Couture, self-proclaimed the Gucci of Walmart, and rightfully so. Before we get into the brand, Kowalski analysis. By definition, a strip mall is an open-air shopping mall where the stores are arranged in a row with a sidewalk in front. So think of those joints where you have a nail salon next to a vape shop, next to some shitty Korean restaurant. That's a strip mall. I also want to say that I've been keeping swearing out of my videos, or cursing, or however you want to put it. Mostly for the reason that I shared the Hot Ones video on my Facebook a couple months back whenever I posted it. And I know my grandma watched it, and just in case she was sticking around. From now on, I'm going off the rails. And whoever doesn't like that, heck off. So couture is defined as the design and manufacture of fashionable clothes to a client's specific requirements and measurements. Now, as far as these definitions go, some of the brand designs could be seen as reminiscent of strip mall quality. In particular, this I Heart New York design, very reminiscent of something you'd see at like street vendor or like a strip mall. And as far as couture goes, yes, they are manufacturing clothes, but not so much to the point where they're doing specific measurements for specific clients. So none of this is really important, but since the name used these terms, I figured we'd at least look into it a little bit. Stripmall Couture exhibits very simplistic designs with a sense of self-deprecation, and in many cases can be viewed as a sort of social experiment, which I'll elaborate more on a little bit later. The first post was on December 20th in 2017, so the brand has been around for a decent amount of time, especially compared to maybe some of the other ones that we've been looking at. The designs largely make use of white blanks or white t-shirts with black minimalistic graphics, usually embroidered. An interesting thing about this brand is, rather than leveraging graphics to make their brand special, they stand out by experimenting with elements surrounding clothing. Now, before we go further, let's check out their website so you guys can build a better understanding of what I'm trying to convey, and then I can talk about some of the items, which is the main portion of what I want to get into for this brand. Alright, so here we are on the Stripmall Couture website, and like I said before, they're the self-proclaimed Gucci of Walmart, which you can see in the top left corner. I was talking about how there's a lot of self-deprecation, and you can see that with the like don't follow us and don't sign up and don't contact us. And you go down in the corner here, we have a notification, don't enter our contest. The most interesting part of this website is the shop content, so let's go over to the shop and check out what we got. So they have these bags that are pretty interesting, very similar to a lot of the like clear backpacks that you see in schools now because of school shootings and things like that. PVC shoulder bag, and there's also clear totes that we'll show off next. As far as the dimensions go, you got the dimensions there, embroidered text, and it talks about the material. Clear PVC compartments allow you to show off your boring life. Like I was saying, you have the tote version of it, and then you also have it in black colorways. You can see down there a little bit. Look at the Alligator skin tactical belt, and I wasn't sure if this is a collaboration or not. Nylon webbing reads Alligator skin and Stripmall Couture. So yeah, I think this is a collaboration between them and Alligator skin, which I've never heard of, but I do like the branding on it, and not a bad price. That's a lot of the items on here, except for one that we'll get to, are not bad. And yeah, we have the inclusive Dior, where it basically lists a bunch of different religions, and then you have Christian Dior. They do a lot of this stuff where they play off of big fashion designers. I think on their Instagram they had a shirt that said Raf Salmon instead of Raf Simmons, and then they have a helmet that says Helmet Lang on it. We already went over the bag, so we'll look at the Care Label T-shirt. And when I first saw this stuff, it reminded me kind of what Supreme did with Champion, just because Champion, they took their label from, stuff that you usually see on the inside, and they just used it for the main graphic of the T-shirt. So, and you can definitely tell it's made of a different material, like it says there, satin. So it has that different like finish, and there's a close-up of all the care instructions. But yeah, basically it's just a T-shirt that has how to wash it and care for it on the outside. So moving on, we have the Gilding T-shirt, and this one's actually kind of interesting. I'm not sure if this is the one that they posted to their Instagram or not. If we move to the other picture, we have this kind of glittery Gilding logo. So I want to go to their Instagram now, and I have this preloaded, of course, got you guys. Here is, we got the glittery Gilding shirt, but the shirt actually almost looks like it might be a different one. But if you look at the description, Gilding logo tees made with Swarovski crystal glitter. I really like this design because it contrasts it so much. You're taking something known for being very, very cheap and using something very expensive. Although, if he's selling it for $28, it can't be too expensive. But, diamonds in general, something very expensive, and using that to represent this very notoriously cheap brand, and that is Gilding T-shirts. The pictures definitely do look a little bit different, but that might be the same T-shirt. Your girl says she wants the Birkin bag. Get her this one. Moving on, we have the Teardrop sleep mask. It's just a sleep mask with some teardrops on it. Painter's pant made to order. So I really like these socks that they have. You have the branding on the ankle region or calf region, and then on the bottom you have wear once and throw away. Disposable socks, because who wears anything more than once, right? With the fine print reading, poor people can wear more than once. And I mean, the brand is kind of going for this edgy vibe where, oh, throw this away after one wear, don't follow us, don't enter this contest. You have the Harvard sweatshirt, and we can look at this one, but I'm not a huge fan of this, and honestly I think it's a little uncharacteristic of the brand. I thought this one didn't really fit in with a lot of the other things the brand is doing. Not necessarily bad, just I don't know, I was not a huge fan of it. With that being said, we have a basically inside out sweatshirt. You look at the collar, the print, inside out, and it's even backwards. And then you have the athletic label on the lower right hand side. So if you zoom in on the athletic label, it's actually a factory error report, and I haven't seen this before, but still not one of my favorite pieces from this brand. I mentioned this before. You have the I Heart New York shirt flipped upside down, the Air Force None, which is a blank Nike Air Force One, and then the swoosh is removed and it just says swoosh embroidered. You have the drawstring hoodie, which kind of falls in line with the Harvard shirt that we saw before. You have another factory error report for airtight being the drawstrings, where they just crammed as many as they could fit in there. Once again, not a huge fan of this design. I don't know. Reminds me of some like frayed tassels, stuff like that. So we have the 3D T-shirt, which comes with your own custom pair of Stripmall Couture 3D glasses. Wow. But yeah, basically just Stripmall Couture logo T-shirt, but it's in 3D. Zoom in, you can see the 3D effect for the logo, which I think is cool. A little bit more expensive, you're paying those $4 for those extra 3D glasses. So I think this one falls into a similar category as the one with the satin care instruction label. This is the order form T-shirt, and we can zoom in on the actual order. Also important to note, this is a print instead of a satin label like cut and sew. And you basically just have the order form for this T-shirt itself. So you got the order form, and then the T-shirt with the order form on it, and then the T-shirt with the order form on it again. So you get what you pay for. It's got black embroidery, but if you look at the price, it's $500. So this plays into a lot of the other designer stuff. Like I was saying before, they mess with things like Raf Salmon and Helmet Lang on a helmet, and then the Christian Dior one. They take a lot of influence from that, or they frequently acknowledge it, might be a better way to put it. But this is kind of why I said they do more of like social experiment type stuff, but this isn't how their brand operates. You know, they make $28 t-shirts, $32 t-shirts, and have price points more along that line. So this is more of a experimental t-shirt. Just throw it up there. Maybe people will buy it because it's expensive. So the last item they have on here is the punk ski mask, and I would say it's probably given the punk name because of all the piercings. You have some on the eyebrow, 2 on the cheek areas, 1 in the nose, and then 1 on the lower lip. And it's also interesting to look at the eye holes. The one with the piercings actually kind of looks like it's not the same shape, but that just might be how the item was laying out when the pictures were taken. So that pretty much wraps up everything for the website, but there were 2 more pieces that they don't have on their website that I did want to talk about before we hopped off and got back to everything else. So the first one is this t-shirt where you have a price embroidered, and it says like $38. You have the regular, sticker that you see with the sizing, very normal. But if you look on the sleeve, there's also a plastic anti-theft tag, which they remove the sensor for, and it's supposed to be very light. Looking at the description, another reason I've been saying, social experiment brand kind of, is because they post this t-shirt study stuff a lot, and you can see this is the 4th one in their t-shirt study installments. I actually really like the design of having the embroidered price here. I think that's cool, but not a fan of how this looks. But I do respect the idea of it, and yeah. So the next one I wanted to talk about was the Stripmall Couture cinder block, and they say Stripmall Couture cinder block or Supreme brick. Somebody said I'm buying cinder blocks because they're cheap and I can build my house with it. But yeah, I'm not sure if they actually sold these or if this was just kind of like a novelty thing they did, but I thought it was interesting, so I figured I would include it. With that being said, we'll get back to the rest of the video. This brand gives me Off-White vibes. They walk a narrow line between meme culture and designer fashion, with things like their lower back tattoo shirt, which I just now realized I didn't show off, so here it is, and their deactivated anti-theft tag. But I think they found just the right spot, and they make designs that continually hit this mark. Now let me immediately contradict what I just said by saying that the lower back tattoo t-shirt is a disgusting design, and I can't see anyone wearing that, nor should they wear it. But I think this design helps support the identity that Stripmall Couture is going for, and I stand behind the design for that reason. So in conclusion, I think this brand is really cool, and we see them experimenting in a number of ways that have not really been done before or are not done very often. Like, they go places that other brands aren't willing to. While doing this, they offer a wide variety of items and keep their identity intact. So like I said in the intro, I was planning on doing 2 brands instead of just this one, but unfortunately I reached out to both brands. One of them responded, the other one, not Stripmall Couture, they decided not to respond, which I understand. They have 20,000 followers, so them not seeing a DM from a lowly YouTube channel with, I think I got like 350 followers on Instagram, makes sense. That being said, if you guys want to follow my Instagram, shameless plug right here. But yeah, the other brand that did respond, they responded, said they liked the content. I usually send people the playlist with all the streetwear startups in it. For an example, they said they'd be down but that they're really busy, and I checked back the next day and their Instagram, I don't know if they just took down their Instagram momentarily or what happened, but when I clicked on it, it said like page can't be found. None of their posts were showing up, and I went to their website and it said we'll be back soon. None of their stock was showing up or anything, so I really didn't have anything to show off for the brand, and they really didn't respond to any of my questions, just said that they were interested. So you'll probably see them in a future video, and rather than rushing and trying to half-ass another brand for the video, I decided, like I said, I'm just gonna move it on to a future video. And I found a bunch of memes that are streetwear related or streetwear startup related, and I figured I'd just throw those in here. But other than that, thank you for watching as always. Remember to leave a like, subscribe if you guys like this content, leave a comment who you guys want to see next, or don't do any of that, just watch the video, it means enough to me. But yeah, with that being said, roll the memes.